Hello and welcome. Today we're going to be talking about 4 possible reasons why you're not hearing messages from your spirit guides. So let's get started right away. Number 1, they may be speaking to you in ways that you're not looking for them to be speaking to you. Also under this category would be you're getting messages, but they're not the types of messages maybe you want to be receiving. So your spirit guides, your higher self, might be talking to you right now through feelings, feeling in your gut or in your chest or in your head. You might be feeling intuitive sort of messages from your guides. You might be receiving signs, like repeated numbers or synchronicities. Your guides might right now with you be communicating in that way, and you might not realize that that's how they're communicating with you right now. We all have a most natural way of communicating at first. Chances are, if you're drawn to my work, that you probably are someone who feels more at first. You're probably not someone who sees like with their third eye at first, or probably not someone who just hears their guides immediately. Most of you probably feel your messages right now if you're kind of towards the beginning still, and seeing those repeated numbers and feeling like something is a sign. Those are ways they're communicating with you. And that just means if it's not going past that, it could just mean that that's just where you are right now, and you haven't yet developed the other abilities to be able to literally hear your guides. Or in my case, I hear them as thoughts. I don't literally hear voices. So that's just something to keep in mind, is you probably are receiving messages in some form of another. And I'm going to guess for most of you, tell me below in the comments, but for most of you, it's probably a gut feeling, or it's a feeling that you feel in your body, whether it's like goosebumps, chills, a tingling, like an uplifting feeling, or even like an icky feeling. So just noticing and leaning into those things when they do happen, and start acknowledging them even more. You can even, a fun thing to do is kind of when you notice those things, you can talk, even though you might not hear your guides talking to you yet, your higher self, but you can talk to them when you notice that, like, and call it out. Whether it out loud feels like it would be even better, but you can do it in your head. If you feel those tingles, say out loud, "Oh, I felt that. Like I notice you're there," or I'm receiving a message, even if you don't know what the message is in words. I believe we receive a lot energetically, and we don't always need to know the answer. I know it's fun to know the answer, or ear ringing comes to mind. Some of you might experience ear ringing, not like constant ear ringing like it's a doctor problem, but like you feel like it's a message from your guides. And just saying out loud, "Oh, I hear the ear ringing, I hear you," and just something like, "Okay, I receive your message." Sometimes I'll like touch my like heart or my like stomach or something, and be like, "Okay, I receive this message, I receive this." And a lot of times it is an energetic message. It's not always that beautiful, big, grand like message in words that we're kind of desiring. Yet it does not mean you will not get there. So just number 1, noticing how you already are connecting with energy, how you're connecting with your team, and knowing you are receiving things. And the more you acknowledge it and the more you lean in, and then we can build with skills on top of that, but just noticing it is already happening. It's just not happening maybe in the way that you know or you feel like you should be capable of receiving. But no, if you feel that, it's going to happen once you lean in those skills. You've learned those skills. Okay, I hope that was helpful. Let me know if number 1 sounds like you. Number 2 is, are your human needs, oh, it was just 4:44 when I said that, the time on the video. Are your human needs met? So many times we're like, "I want to hear my guides, I want to get guidance." I've totally done this and been like this too. But your life is so chaotic, and there is no, like, your human needs aren't taken care of. And when our foundational human needs aren't taken care of, sleep, like eating well enough that our body feels good, connection with people, when those kind of basic needs, thirst, like hydration, aren't moving your body, they're like, list them all, please, for them. When those basic needs aren't being met, it's a lot harder to connect with that higher vibrational spiritual side of ourselves. And this isn't to say you don't want to feel bad about it either. And I can feel some of you already being like almost shaming yourself because of this, but that's not what I'm saying. So I just want to be very clear. Basically, sometimes we can be in phases also. So this is what they want me to say. Sometimes we can be in phases where, yes, we're into all the spiritual fun stuff, but right now it might be a time where you really need to just focus on your human life. And it's okay. I think this is where people get into a little trouble with it, because they find themselves only focusing on their human life, like to survive, like just almost feeling like they're surviving it. It reminds me of like when you have really, really young kids and they're just so needy all the time. And then, you have your needs that barely get met. When you're living in that kind of environment, it's very hard to then go and try to connect and get all these beautiful messages from our spirit team. I like to think in those kind of phases of time, and then a lot of people feel bad about it. I'm not making the quiet time. I'm not meditating. I'm not taking care of myself. We don't need to feel bad about it. Sometimes we just have phases like that, and it's completely okay. Completely okay. And it's just a phase. Everything is a phase. And then just knowing that when you do move out of that phase and you can meet your needs a little better, that is when you can open up to that spiritual guidance. But during that phase, when life feels really hard, and sometimes it is, sometimes we're literally just surviving, and that's okay. But when that's happening, instead of seeking for messages or feeling bad that you're not doing certain things, in my opinion, during those times, your spirit team is just supporting you. They're sending you love, and things like that. So if you are in a difficult phase like that of your life where your all your needs really are not being met, and they can't be met right now, instead of looking for messages or instead of trying to hear your guides, what I would recommend is asking for their support, asking for their love, asking for their healing, and they will be there for you. And just knowing that, just believing that they will be there for you and asking for their support. You don't have to ask for guidance. You don't have to ask for all these messages, and you don't have to feel bad that you're not making the time to do all like the fun spiritual things maybe you want to do. You can still call on them and just ask for love and ask for support. They're sending it anyway. They're holding that space for you anyway. But if you ask for it, it's a lot easier to receive it. I hope that was helpful. Let me know if you're falling into that number 2 at all. Number 3, have you taken action? So this is twofold. So tell me if you've been here. If the easiest way to explain this is if you pull cards. Have you ever? Okay, I'll tell an actual story. I remember. So I used to do health coaching, and I thought it felt really aligned at the time. But then eventually I realized that's not really the way I wanted to help people. But I really liked doing it. I liked connecting with people. Whatever. But around that time, towards the end of that journey, I was pulling cards, and every time I would ask about my business, I would get this card, it was basically it's basically the Tower card in tarot, but it was a different kind of deck. So it was like a tree with like a lightning bolt, and the tree was getting like struck, and it was like, burn it down so you can build something else, is basically the message. Something has to get burned down. And I would pull that all the time, and I'd be like, what the heck? Why do I keep getting this? And then, like, you know, the next time I'd pull cards, I'd get that same damn tree again. The next time I pull cards, it was like the same message kept coming over and over and over. And I'm like, what the heck? And I wasn't taking action on that message. So I kept getting the same message. There were no new messages coming through. It was just, and this was at a time where I didn't receive messages. Like, I couldn't get messages in my head, like telepathically with my guides, like I can now. And I would get messages through my Oracle and Tarot cards. And I just kept getting that stupid message. It wasn't until I really took that message for what it was and realized, like, oh, maybe this business isn't as aligned as I thought it was, and did kind of start the process of burning it down to make room for something new. It wasn't until I did that that I was able to get new messages. So and let me know in the comments if you've done this, but it's like, it's like you have that friend that keeps coming to you for advice, and you keep giving them the same advice and the same advice and the same advice, and they're not taking it. You're not going to just you're either going to stop talking to them about it, or keep giving them the same advice. You're not going to give them new advice. And that's kind of what our spirit teams can do. It's like, if there's something that's like, they need to take action on this, they need to take action on this so they can move kind of to that next step. If that action doesn't get taken, your messages are either going to stay the same, or they're just going to stop, because your guides are like, you're like plateaued. And until you take that action, you don't get to kind of like proceed forward, level up, and all that stuff. It's just 11:55 when I said that. That is super important for some of you. Now, with that, okay, what kinds of action might that be, just in case you're falling into this third category? It could be a difficult conversation with yourself or someone else. It could be a change in career. It could be a change in relationship. It could be something smaller, like not eating sugar anymore. That's happened to me a lot of times. It could be even smaller than that. Drink more water. But it's like, if you are getting that information, you know intuitively. Some of you listening to this right now, you know what you need to do. You know what you've been resisting. You know what you've been kind of pushing off, but you also know it's aligned to do it. That's your thing. For me, I've been pushing off restarting my workout routine, which is hilarious because I used to be a health and fitness coach. However, I was kind of in that survival kind of phase that I talked about in number 2 for a while. And one of the things that blew off the table, it was in alignment for me to not exercise for a while. I knew that, but things are leveling out where I know that is something that if I don't now start exercising, I know I'm now going to be resisting it. For a while, it was there, like, I know this is coming up. I know I meant to do this, but I don't have to do it quite yet. Today, I know if I don't do that workout and start that new exercise program, I know I'm going to be plateaued here until getting like the next step on my journey type thing. So I know I need to just do the damn workout. And I know something will open up for me. Something will unlock, because everything is connected like that. So think about, is there something I've been resisting? Is there something I know in my gut I just need to do? Maybe it's like getting stupid stuff off your to-do list. It can be like just making an appointment or canceling an appointment, or, sending, UPS, like sending your, whatever it's called, like your returns back in the mail. It can be silly little things like that too. It doesn't always have to be a huge like life change, although it could be. But if you're stuck and haven't taken that next action step, you are probably not going to receive more guidance, and you are not going to feel like you're hearing your guides. Okay, let me know if you fall into number 3. I'm super curious about where everyone ends up. Or if any of these, maybe you watch this whole video and you're like, that wasn't me at all. Let me know if that happens too, because I am curious. Okay, number 4 is like the easiest thing to change if you haven't done it, and it is, have you invited them in? Have you like made a conscious effort to say, I want to have a relationship with you. I want to deepen our connection. I would love to receive your guidance. I'm just checking. There's like a few different ways we could go with this. One way that I think would feel really good is writing a letter. I'm just checking in, making sure what I'm supposed to say. Yes, writing a letter feels like the most supportive for the most of you, is writing a letter to whoever on your spirit team you want to connect with. Is it your higher self? Is it a specific guide? Is it just your spirit team as a whole? Is it angels, whoever, whatever? You could write a letter to them and just set kind of like your, like stating your intentions, like what you're hoping to get out of this. If there's any sort of forgiveness piece that might need to come in. And just writing that letter, reading that letter out loud. And I don't know, it feels really supportive to even like put it under your pillow or something, or put it somewhere special. It feels like it wants to go somewhere special. I was just checking if you're supposed to, sometimes like it's fun to burn things and like let it out into the universe, but this doesn't feel like, it doesn't feel like you want to burn it. It feels like you want to put it somewhere special. Maybe even if you have like, use it as a bookmark if you're like reading a book, or if you have a journal, you could put it in your journal or your planner, or, you know, next to your bed. I don't know, but that feels really supportive. But just have you invited them in is really, that's number 4. There are multiple ways of doing this. So obviously the written a letter is what I said. There are tons of like meet your spirit guide guided meditations on YouTube. I do have one. I will put it down below. I would just whenever you listen to any type of guided meditation, healing meditation on YouTube or any platform, I would just advise you to really check in before you listen to it, and just most of you are going to be feelers. I know that. So just pull up the video, look at it, and just ask, is this video meant for me? And see how you feel. Not all videos are created equal, and not all videos are for your energy field. It's really, I think it's really important that if you're going to listen to any type of healing, any type of guided meditation, that you really resonate and you connect with the person doing it, because everyone's energy is not for you. So just, nothing like horrible is going to happen. It's just, it's going to be a lot cleaner energy if you're receiving from someone who you're an energetic match to. You're going to know if you're an energetic match. How do you feel when they're talking, or when you're playing the healing video? Just make sure it feels good. Maybe you get tingles. Maybe you're like, it should feel good. So just make sure. I would just do a quick little check-in before you hit play on someone's video. If you don't actually like kind of know them, maybe watch one of their videos where they're talking to make sure you're like, okay, like I get what they're saying. I'm like vibing kind of, right? The same way if you were dating someone, like, you know, you're not going to let them just like start sending you like healing energy if you're like, I don't really know about this person, you know, so just feel into it a little. Okay. Anyway, I hope that was helpful. Definitely let me know in the comments. If you feel like one of those was really speaking to you. Yeah, I'm super curious, and I hope, I really look forward to hearing how that landed with some of you. And happy connecting with your guides and building your relationship. Bye.